All right, so Shudder dropped a new film, and this is from the director of last year's very cool, very overlooked film called Mads, which was a one take, an actual one take film, not like, like little sneaky cuts that make it look like one take.
It was legitimately
one take zombie film that was awesome. Just for the technical achievement alone, that was a really cool watch. He also directed a very cool French movie called Them, which a lot of you should be familiar with. They also remade it, but it's a very cool film. I'm not going to spoil what kind of subgenre it falls into, but once it's revealed, it's really messed up. So definitely check those out. And I also found out he did a Where Is Everybody movie called Alone, and everybody knows that I love them Where Are Everybody movies. And I'd never even heard of this thing, so I'm going to track it down. I've looked, and I can't find it. Let me know if you can. So, this stars Olga Kurylenko, who I know from tons of films at this point, but last year, or no, not last year, this was like 3 years ago now, she did a Shudder movie called Room, which I quite liked, actually. And this time around, she gets a call, and her mother has died, and she returns to her childhood home, and past traumas pop up, and something else pops up in the house. What could it be? I thought this was really good. This was a very cool film.
Yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me with this director, because this director has done some really rad stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I also thought it was really good. I think that there is a really cool visual element or motif, maybe we would call it, that I quite enjoyed. And I think it's a really interesting film. We both really loved the ending as well. It's a little bit of a subversion, I guess, of expectations, you could say, and I think it makes it even more powerful.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a really cool film. It deals a lot with trauma and child abuse, and how we deal with that as an adult. And so I think that part of the movie is very, maybe relatable and saddening.
Yeah, also, just a quick side note here. If you are someone who's hypersensitive to animal death or anything like that, I would probably just be warned. There is some stuff in here. It's not like animal torture or anything insane, but it'll be upsetting.
There is a very sudden animal death that happens pretty early in the film. So.
And some mutilated animals are shown.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd let you know, because I know some people get really, really set off by that kind of stuff. Also, if you do watch the movie, there is a very quick post-credit sequence at the very, very, very end, which I think adds an interesting element to the movie. It might appear to be nothing to somebody, but I think with what the film is and what it's trying to say, especially with a specific part of the body, which seems to be the focal point of this entire film, which is kind of funny and ironic because of the motif you were bringing up, but that's kind of also what adds to it. As you said, I think that the ending, which I was expecting, I was expecting something. I don't want to allude to what it is, so I'm trying to be very careful with my words, but my expectations were subverted, and in a very, very satisfying way, because it's not even remotely what I was expecting, and it made it so much more impactful.
Yeah.
So really cool on them for that. And now Olga is an actress who, she has a very strong Ukrainian accent, and she always has. And I do feel like it comes off as stiff. And in here, I feel like the same is true. It always feels like that to some degree. That being said, I've hung around a decent amount of women from
Eastern Europe.
Yeah, I was gonna say like your Eastern European countries, and there's not all of them, of course, but the ones in my experience, there is like a kind of like coldness and I don't want to say lifelessness, but stiffness to them as a person. Like they've went through shit, and there's just something like very, I don't know. There's something missing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really think I've interacted with many people from Eastern Europe, but I was gonna say that I think that the accent sort of maybe lends itself to like what you're describing a little bit.
Like, not to be political in any way, shape, or form, but like Melania Trump, like
Sure.
the way she acts,
Yeah.
where there's just this like deadness.
There could definitely
in
be
her.
like a cultural thing going on for sure. I didn't really have a problem with her performance in this though. Like I think that
I
she
didn't
gives
either,
a solid one.
but they just I can tell that this is the kind of actress and a performance that people would think feels bad.
I see.
But I'm saying that I think this is more authentic than we might think it is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I just thought this was a really unique movie. That's what I really appreciated about it. You know, like, there's so many films that come out that are just so tropey and generic. And this one really does try to set itself apart from anything else that I've seen this year, right? It kind of has its own, you know, rules and universe that are set in this small space that she's in.
Yeah.
And there's a very specific style choice. The like there's a mystery that's wrapped all around this that is very exciting to kind of unravel slowly, and as things are unraveled and like certain videotapes are shown or certain things are found in the house, there's just this like sense of like dread and disgust that kind of washes over you and adds to it. And I thought that this was and I think this movie had a lot to say, especially about beauty.
Yeah, definitely.
And the kind of expectations that are put on people to be beautiful. And I think that the style choice and the direction was a very cool one.
Yeah.
For that message.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think definitely the concepts of beauty and how important that can be to people, kind of, like an all-consuming ideal that people are always chasing, as well as relationships between parents and their children and a lot of stuff with that.
And this just feels like a horror movie through and through.
Yeah.
It's very nightmarish. Like, the world feels like reality adjacent. And I love,
a little bit, yeah.
I love that kind of feel in horror, right? I don't like solid foundation a lot of the time.
It's nice when you can you're sort of, it's not really an unreliable narrator in this, but that kind of unreliable world maybe, where you're like, I don't know if this is, like, what's happening right now. Is this, like, yeah, there's a certain vibe. I agree. That is really...
There's an uncanniness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of uncanny valley. Mm-hmm.
So that's that. So it's on Shudder currently. It came out today, and you should give it your attention if this sounds like something that might be up your alley.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know in the comments below, and it sucks. These are the types of movies that they're not the bigger movies, and we can't do spoiler discussions on every single film that we watch. But this is definitely one of those films where, I wish we had the time to sit down and talk about it, because this is one I haven't even fully digested yet completely.
Yeah.
And I would love to watch it again and really look for all of the little pieces to try to put together I think I have most of it. In fact, I think I almost have all of it. There's just a couple pieces. There's another character that is maybe a friend, maybe a foe, that keeps popping up around the property. and I'm curious on this character and their motivations and how they fully play into the story. I know I got most of it. I'm just little pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ending.
Great
Very,
ending.
very cool.
Really, really solid.
Very, very cool. And I think it will be extremely underwhelming for a lot of people.
I do too.
Because they won't get it. And that almost sounds like snobbish. Like you don't get it, so you... No, I feel like people are going to have such a specific expectation because of how there's this buildup, and they're going to be like, that's it? And it's like, no, that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, anyway. It's hard to be vague, but I can tell that's the kind of reaction a lot of people are going to have. Because they're so primed for a specific result, and that ain't going to be it. And they're going to kind of the message is going to go right over their head with it.
Yeah.
But very cool. Anyway, that's
Very
that.
cool.
All right. Check it out. It's on Shudder.